Great spirits, please speak to me. Show me what I must do.
Little shaman, and the Fire Lord has answered. You and your kind thought that the fires of doom had been quenched. But I will show you the truth. That you hold dear exist only to burn. The end comes, son of Duratan. The final hour of twilight. And there is nothing you can do to stop it.
Not exactly what you thought I was going to cut to, did you? Let me just kind of put this into perspective here. Based on what you just saw in that trailer. Yeah, this is Gallywix's little pleasure palace with his golf course here. Right down there is Orgrimmar. And then look up here. Now, you can see Mount Hyjal in the tree and such. And then you see a lot of orange. And if you saw in that trailer, yeah. Just want to give you guys a bit of perspective here from this shot, this view of what it's like when, like, oh, let me go from Orgrimmar to the Firelands. Oh, I'm sorry. Ah. My mount is like, ow! Okay, apparently he's having trouble flying up. Apparently you have to get really close here in Ashenvale to go up. I was trying to do like a, you know, like to give you perspective of what you saw there. There's Gallywix's place, and then you head up here and you're like, oh, look. It's Mount Hyjal, beautiful tree. There's, I hate that the orange is gone. Like, oh, and you're like, oh, let me go check this out. But what's that over there? And then you're like, oh my gosh. There we go. This is the visual I was going for here. You get closer, and then all of a sudden you just see all this orange. Ugh. The visuals here. The Throne of Fire. My goodness. The visual that Thrall saw there, just having it set the Mount Hyjal on fire, and just having lava just go down and cover Orgrimmar. My goodness. The Throne of Flame. This. Now, I don't remember what the story was in terms of how this... Oh, that reminds me. Alright, there we go. 10-man heroic. Alright. We're doing heroic because there is an extra phase here, specifically with Ragnaros, that's only available in the heroic version. I don't remember if we summoned this portal so we could get into the Firelands. I don't remember if Deathwing brought this up so that he could bring Ragnaros here. I don't remember what exactly happened here in terms of why this portal throne is here. Now, in the game, gameplay-wise, we know it's here because this is the entrance to the raid. But in terms of story and lore, I don't remember what the circumstances were. But yeah, my goodness. Just that distant visual of the orange, and then you got closer, and then it was like, oh my gosh. So yeah, you guys remember Molten Core? You remember how that was laid out, and how you know it was one of Blizzard's first raids, and they weren't really great at designing layouts of raids. They did a much better job with this one, and they did a better job also with our good old buddy Ragnaros, who I kind of miss him because he was kind of awesome. He was awesome in that trailer, and he's awesome in this raid too. A bit more so than it was in Molten Core, where he was just like, "Oh, too soon, Major Domo," and he was just kind of slow. Here, he is much more awesome, mainly because, well, we are going into his house. Now, you're like, well, wasn't Molten Core's house? Well, technically, it was his temporary house. The Firelands, this is a scenario that comes up often in Warcraft, actually. Especially when it comes to certain types of villains. And this also applies to the Burning Legion. When you beat them outside their realm, they are just gonna get reborn in their realm to recover, be stronger, and that's where they are at their best, their strongest and such. That's usually the case with the Nathrezim. Whenever we beat them here, they just go back to the Nether realm. That place. In regards to elements, and I forgot to mention this in the Throne of the Four Winds raid. When you beat an elemental, and I mean when you kill an elemental in their elemental plane, they're gone permanently, forever. They are not getting reborn. They are not coming back. Now, it's dangerous because it's where they are at their strongest. Ragnaros was not at his strongest when we faced him in Molten Core. He was still recovering. That's why he was like, "Too soon, Major Domo. You brought me back too soon." Well, he has had time to recover. And what's more, we are going into his realm, the Firelands. This is where he is at his strongest. He is at his most powerful here. But he is also at his most vulnerable, because if we beat him here, he is permanently gone. I hate that guy for having that mount. I really want that mount. But there actually are also a couple of mounts here that I would love to get while we're here. We are here, and we are going to be using my Death Knight. I could have used my Warrior or my Paladin, but I decided to bring my Death Knight in for this. I may switch it up from Unholy so that way my ghoul doesn't kill everything. But it's for, it's mainly for one reason. Because there is a weapon in this raid I really, 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 really want. And Ragnaros drops it, and it is his signature weapon, Sulfurous. Now, you could have gotten this back in Molten Core. If you recall, back in Molten Core, it was possible to get... ignore those. The Bindings of the Windseeker. That was for the Alakir weapon. The Eye of Sulfurous. So you can be combined with the Sulfuron Hammer to create Sulfurous, the legendary hammer of Ragnaros. So you could be able to use this to make a legendary weapon from back in Vanilla. But remember, getting this stuff in Molten Core was insanely hard, because back then they would only drop one or two things. Yeah. They would have dropped hardly any loot back in the day, back in the days of Molten Core and the days of Vanilla. Whereas once we got to Cataclysm, they were like, okay, we're gonna try and make up for how badly we designed the loot drops and such back in the days of vanilla, where it would just drop 1 or 2 things for an entire 40-man raid group. We're going to have it drop more items. We're also going to make another new version of Sulfurous, which is now even higher level. You can see it was like, this is just for 10-man heroic, so it would have been like item level 110 with better stats, required level 85. So there's a lot of, you know, obviously it was a much better upgraded version at this point, since at this point you could be able to get up to level 85. So there's a few, you know, really good other things here that you can collect. I've already gotten some I still want. This is another one. I wouldn't mind getting that sword there, too. I've gotten that one. That's the one I use my warrior, this mandible. I've got a few other things here in terms of some of the other armors. There's that one I was using, the Pauldron of the Roaring Flame. That's the one I have on my warrior. My warrior has a few different things from here. There's other things here, like for the paladin and such. Of course, also for the Death Knight. But the Death Knight one here I just kind of find rather silly. But there's a couple of really cool mounts you can get. There's also a couple of pets you can get here. I wouldn't mind getting this one here. This one right here, a Pureblood Firehawk. Ragnaros has a chance of dropping this, but it's like a 2% chance of dropping, or like a 1%. It's like a 1% chance of dropping. Same with this one, this Flame Talon Alley Razor. This has like a 2% chance of dropping. So you've got 2 extremely rare mounts that can drop. You have a couple of, you know, a lot of really cool weapon transmogs and armor transmogs. You have several pets. I don't have this one either. That you can be able to get here. There's a lot of great stuff you can collect here. So it does take a little while, but when you can actually mount in here, I'll show you guys here. If you've seen my my main playthrough with my shaman, you'll have seen me kind of already go through this. By the way, there are a couple of vendors here for quartermasters if you were to get a high enough appearance. If you wanted to come here and grab some of these certain things here for certain appearances, there are some here. Though personally, I'm looking at these and I'm like, eh. So you're gonna get, like, I guess, rep with the Avengers of Hyjal if you come here. So you could get this if you wanted to try and, you know, get that appearance. So there's a few different things you can get here. So let's head on into the Firelands. Look at this. Now, right away, you can see there's a ton of ads here. But you'll also notice I'm still mounted. This is one of those raids that it actually lets you stay on a mount if you want. Because, well, when you think about it, we're technically outside. We're outdoors. So, look at this Molten Lord. He's walking straight up here. I'm coming for you. How dare you enter here? Oh, I can see Rylith all the way from over here. By the way, Rylith is probably one of the only things that people do not like about this raid. Rylith, well, alright, well, he's probably gonna be, yeah, he's probably gonna be the first boss we go after. Since, Bethelak is over there, where I can just go straight there. Rylith is considered to be one of the, worst designed raid bosses in the game. Where on paper, it kind of sounded like it could be really good. But in execution, it ended up being very poor to the opinion of a lot of people. Where it was this thing where you would attack one of his feet, and, well, you'll see when we get there. Let's go ahead and start making our way over there.
I need to get closer.
Don't worry, I'm not exactly wanting to take care of all the trash. But I am probably going to need to clear some of it just to kind of get them out of my way. But it's not really a big deal. But look at all the ads in here. I mean, it makes sense when it's just like in Ice Crown Citadel. The more I take out, the more reputation I get. So if you were grinding to get high reputation with the Avengers of Hyjal, it would make sense that you would be on here trying to focus on all available possible mobs and ads and trash and such, so you could be able to keep upping her reputation to get access to a lot of that other stuff. Alright, so he is right up there. That over there is going to be for the next boss we take on, Ali Razor. Go ahead.
I'm out of range.
Hey! What are you doing? Car the Ever-Burning, what are you doing? Hey, get back here. Alright. There's Rylith. Pleasant looking one, isn't he? Yeah. He's only got the top half of his skull. Rylith is one of the most ancient elementals in existence. Born from the primordial fires that forged Azeroth itself, he is responsible for the creation of new elementals in the Firelands that still possesses a searing hatred of the Titans for what he considers monumental arrogance in relocating him. Which I guess explains why we end up fighting his son in the Shaman Order Hall campaign in Legion when we come here to get the aid of the Fire Realm against the Burning Legion. So yeah, I guess the mechanic of this, you notice we can't really target his body. We target his feet. So I guess the idea of this raid was that you would, yeah, whatever foot you would attack would cause him to turn. Yeah, I kind of get what they were going for, but in execution it didn't quite work out that way. Now, of course, like a stomp like that, the idea was that he's supposed to do a ton of damage.
Creatures of flesh, now you will burn.
But I just remember a lot of people saying that they absolutely hated this boss because it just did not live up to what they thought. And they were like, why did they design the boss like this? I hope we reach the point where we can, you know, like recently they've been doing time walking with like Black Temple and Ulduar. I would love to you know, to see them do time walking with Firelands, and maybe get to try and participate in that. I didn't get to participate in the recent time walking stuff. I would love to have done that though. All right, so up next here, you can see the blazing monstrosities and these egg piles, because the next boss is Ali Razor. When Ragnaros' forces surge into Mount Hyjal, the Green Dragon, Alisra betrayed her allies and helped liberate the traitorous Archdruid Frandrel Staghelm. As a reward, she was purified with fire and reborn as a fearsome firehawk. This is one of those bosses that drops one of those rare mounts. Oh, gosh, come on. Please let luck be on my side today, and I have a chance to get that sword. I could get this helm, but I don't really care for the armor set that the Death Knight gets in this raid. To me, it looks a little silly. Alright, let's start off by dropping this.
It's too far away. I need you closer. I'm out of range.
That reminds me, I need to make sure I get rid of these egg piles. There we go. And there he is, Majordomo Staghelm. Hey.
What have we here? Visitors to our kingdom, the Fireland mortals may remember Alisra, who spirited me to freedom in Mount Hyjal. She too has been reborn. Born of flame! I wish I could watch her reduce your pitiful band to cinders, but I am needed elsewhere. Farewell!
Coward.
3, 2, 1.
I serve a new master now, mortals.
Traitor. So there's actually a mechanic here where you can actually be able to fly around and chase her. You know she's dropping feathers. So the idea is you collect these feathers. And then whee! And then I get wings, I can fly after her.
None escape the rage of the Firelands!
There we go, got it. Oh, come on. Fingers crossed. Nope, didn't get it. Was really hoping to get that.
It's too far away. It's too far away.
Man, I love that explosion damage it does. The hunting horn. I think that means another boss comes out. Which I think is... yeah, Shanox. Now, he actually kind of goes all the way around this path. In fact, let me show you guys some of the incredible achievements that are involved with this raid alone. Just this raid alone. Let's see, where is it? I think it's Glory of the Firelands Raider. Oh no, I'm looking in the wrong area. Whoops. Ah, here we are. You can see I've done all of them except for one, which is the one that involves 6 people. Yeah, 6 players. So, you know, a few of the, half of them are like, just do it on heroic. Then there's other ones like, I did this with a group. That's why I have this other one involving Shanox here. During a single engagement, bring Shanox to each of the following locations in the Firelands before dispatching him. So you're supposed to kind of drag him around this entire area in order to get this achievement. I was on my shaman, and he was focusing on me and no one else, and I was in my wolf form, and he was just pummeling me. Now, I was at a point where I was, it wasn't really hurting me, but it was just kind of annoying because he kept slowing me. He kept applying a slow on me, so it was just kind of annoying. Like, for a span of 5 to 10 minutes, I'm running around, and he's just slowing me, and I'm supposed to go where my team is like, bring him here, bring him over here, and... and I'm just like, I'm trying, because I'm running really slow, even in Ghost Wolf form. It was just, it was an experience I would not really want to put myself through again. I'm just gonna put it that way. But again, the trick here now is trying to figure out where exactly he is, so I can find him. Because he's not one of those bosses that stay in one spot, he goes from place to place. Or he goes in a rotation, so you have to try and ride around to find him, which is why it's a good thing you can be able to mount up in this raid.
It's too far away.
Finish this off. There we go. Oh, my health. Ah. Oh, knocked all my health. So yeah, don't touch the lava. Alright, let's eat. Ow! Stepped in the lava, and boy did it hurt. He walks around with a bunch of hounds. So it's a little tricky to be like, oh, is that him over there? You know. There is another boss right here, which I could do. I guess we may as well. Balrog, the Gatekeeper. Balrog earned a reputation as a merciless combatant during the elemental wars of ancient Azeroth. Now that he is confined to the Firelands, Balrog's sanity has dwindled. Few elementals dare disturb him, fearful that they will become victim to his battle lust. Now, what can he drop? Oh, he can drop a pet I don't have. And he can drop that sword. Apparently there's a lot of bosses that could drop that sword.
You are forbidden from my master's domain, mortals. Run away, little girl.
Beware.
Mortals!
Hurl yourselves into your own demise. Fulfill the master's keep is forbidden.
Aw, I don't have... Well, I have a similar appearance for one of my daggers. Oh well. Not a big deal. I seriously have another dagger with, like, that exact same appearance. Alright. Let's see if I can find Shanox. Shanox! Where are you? He's here somewhere. Huh. I don't recall that we need to, like, take down certain ads or such in order to actually get him to spawn.
I smelled him too, Red Limb. Outsiders encroach on the Fire Lord's private grounds. Find their trail. Find them for me,
Oh.
that I may dispense punishment.
There he is. Okay, so apparently I did need to do that in order for him to be like, ah, there are intruders here. Alright. Shanox.
The interlopers! Kill them! Eat them! Hey! Lord of Fire! It hurts!
It hurts! The Flamewalkers are among the most feared elemental guardians in the Firelands. Shanox is no exception. Serving as the chief hunter and kennel master of Ragnaros' hellhounds, Shanox patrols the elemental realm with his two most ferocious beasts, Riplim and Rageface. What lovely names. Alright, so now we're going to be heading this way, over there, because, of course, there's a giant spider in here. Beth Tilak, matriarch of the Cinderweb brood. Beth Tilak and her merciless offspring sate their appetites by sucking the magma and fire from the corpses of elementals. To provide her broodlings with added sustenance, Beth Tilak has woven a network of incendiary webs throughout her lair to trap unsuspecting prey. May I remind you also that not only did we face Ryloth's offspring in the Shaman Order Hall campaign, we also ended up facing, I guess, the offspring of Bethtelek? When the guy who took over for Ragnaros was like, I need an offering, or it was something like that.
I can't attack that target.
They're like, how dare you! They're looking at me and enter like, what did you do that for? See, they're just trapping these so they can feed on them. It's like, what happened to my ghoul?
It's too far away.
My ghoul just went down for some reason. There we go. Alright. Death to them all.
I need a target. I'm out of range.
Boom. I love that little explosion damage that that my outbreak does when I get hit with Firelands. There she is. Hi, Bethtelek. I hope that's how I'm supposed to pronounce it. Get down here. So yeah, there's this mechanic where she's gonna stay up there and keep sending ads and such, but stuff will drop. In fact, you take these out, they're gonna have this on the ground. There we go, right there. And use this to get up to the top so that you can then attack Beth, you know, and try to get her to come down. Otherwise, she's just gonna stay up there the whole time. Huh.
Well, well.
Oh my god.
I admire your tenacity. Balrog stood guard over this keep for 1,000 mortal lifetimes. But none may enter the Firelord's abode!
So now he's over there at the gate where Balrog was. Because just like in the Molten Core, you couldn't be able to progress to Ragnaros until you beat every other boss. And the Majordomo was like, well, so you've beaten everyone else here, huh? Well, fine. Then I will just go and summon the master of this house. And we'll see how you do against him. So yeah, it's kind of no different now than it was then. Because he's doing the exact same thing. He's like, ah! It's like, you'll never get over there and you'll never defeat our master, Ragnaros.
It's too far away.
Now we'll mount him. Alright. So, Staghelm, the traitorous druid. The loss of his son, Valstan, in the War of the Shifting Sands, utterly shattered Fandral. Well, Staghelm's spirit, now empowered by Ragnaros as the new Majordomo of the Firelands, replacing the deceased Majordomo Executus and the leader of the treacherous Druids of the Flame, Fandral seeks to bring ruin to Azeroth, rather than live in a world without his beloved child. Yep. If I have to suffer, then all you suffer with me is basically what's going on here. Alright. So once you defeat all the other bosses, then you can be able to interact with this to make a bridge so you can get over there, which is where Ragnaros is waiting for you. Inside the orb, but the translucent surface is solid and cool to the touch. And it skipped a cutscene. Gosh, I hate it when it does that. Whoa! put the bridge right on top of me. Oh wait, I have to wait for it to cool down. There we go. Alright. The Sulfuron Span. So you remember those achievements I mentioned earlier? The achievement that I mentioned that required 6 people, it's here. So you see those 2 orbs there? Vandal's Flame? There's a spot for 3 people at each one. Now, here's the trick. That guy will shoot like a wave of fire. You'll see in a second. Hold on, wait for it. I think that's it right there. What you just saw. So periodically that will shoot out. So what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to make a macro where you kneel right before it comes out and hits you. The idea is you're supposed to have all 6 people get across without once getting hit by that wave of fire. So you go forward a little bit and you kneel, let that pass, and then you go forward a bit, you kneel, go forward a bit, let it pass, kneel, let it pass, get back up and keep going. Yeah. So kneel before the burning flame. That's the hint, the little, hint about it. So, and then you saw they disappeared. So yeah, once you get hit once, they go away and there's no way to pull it off. So that's kind of the whole deal here about that achievement. Vandal's pet carrier. Did I get the pet? I did! I got the pet! An infernal pyreclaw. Oh, it's a fire scorpion. Oh man, I wonder how rare that pet is. Oh, that's nice. Always nice to add another little pet to my little army here. Little Ragnaros. In fact, hey Rag, little Rag, why don't you join me? Where are you? There he is, little Ragnaros. All right. All right. It's time. It's time for the big man himself. Ragnaros, Lord of the Firelands, embodies the fury and destruction of the primordial infernos that forged Azeroth itself. Promised the chance to set Azeroth aflame without interference from Neptulon and Therazane. Ragnaros seeks to appease the old gods by incinerating the world tree of Nordrassil. Yeah. Neptulon and Therazane, they're cool. They're cool with us, we're cool with them, we're all cool. It was Alakir and Ragnaros that were the problems, which is why we had to take both of them out, and why in Legion they were both like, yeah, sure, we'll help you. We had to get Thunder on, we had to put the new guy in the Firelands in charge. Now, you'll see here, yeah, that's a deadly one. I mentioned that there was a reason I wanted to do this on Heroic instead of Normal. If you do this on Normal, when you beat Ragnaros, he just disappears and that's it. The raid ends. But he's just kind of going away. You didn't actually kill him. You just stopped him. Heroic, there's an extra phase here. I believe it's this one, Stage 4. Where he tries to go away, but then a couple of interesting friends show up and they're like, no, you're not going anywhere. And they hold him in place. And then Ragnaros gets up and you're going to see him actually have legs. I'm not kidding. He's going to have legs. And when you beat him after that phase, in lore, it's like, oh, he's dead. For good. We now have actually killed Ragnaros permanently. So that was kind of the idea in lore, was that we had to come here and finish him off because nothing was going to want to stop Ragnaros from fulfilling his plan of not only bringing Nordrassil, but pretty much setting all of Azeroth to flame. Which, hey, that's completely fine with Deathwing. That's part of his plan. So, lava wielder. Alright. Any moment here, he's gonna pop up. There he is.
Mortal insects! You dare trespass into my domain? Your arrogance will be purged in living flame.
Oh, Rag. I love that my pet showed up just as he popped up. That was great. That was great timing. By the way, in case you're wondering, yes, he does look different because they actually went back and they made an entirely new skeleton and model just for him. So, you can be able to actually double check this if you want. We can go to Classic Molten Core, and we can look at the model of Ragnaros from back then. In fact, look at this. We have a side-by-side comparison here. It's pretty similar, except a little bit more armor and such, and the shoulders look a little better. There's a bit more, well, if we look at, yeah. Alright, so that's the model from Molten Core. So now we switch back to this. Much better looking model, isn't it? Yeah, really nice. Just love that they really wanted to give Ragnaros a lot of care and love when they were designing this raid. They really wanted to do it right. Like, if there was any part of this raid they had to get right, and I mean absolutely had to get right, it was Ragnaros. Everything else, yeah, but if there was one, they had to get Ragnaros right. So, from what I've heard, a lot of people loved his boss fight. Like, this was considered a really good boss fight.
The realm of fire will consume you.
Actually, what am I doing? Oh, I was gonna switch to Frost. Splitting blow.
Run away, little girl. Run away.
Oh man, I was gonna switch to Frost 1 because it makes sense that you would do Frost.
Your time is
Look!
now.
It's Cenarius, Malfurion, and Rune Totem.
Run away, girl.
They're pulling him out.
Outsiders, this is not your realm.
Heroes, he is bound. Finish him.
Uh-oh.
When I finish this, your pathetic
There we are.
mortal world will burn with Run away, little girl. Run away, little girl. Run away. Run away, little girl. Run away.
I mean, the legs are kind of okay.
No. This was to be my hour of triumph.
It is finished, then.
Perhaps.
Heroes, the world owes you a great debt.
Ragnaros has perished. The primal powers he represents can never be vanquished. Another will rise to power someday.
Yes, Cenarius. We must maintain a constant vigil over this realm. But let us celebrate this day and the great victory we have earned here.
Indeed.
Farewell, Ragnaros. Alright, fingers crossed. The mace and the pet. Neither. Oh well. Yeah, I realized as soon as I started the fight, I realized what I actually want to do was switch up to Frost and just, you know, you know how back in Molten Core you needed to use like frost mages because of course back then they were resistant to fire. So wouldn't it make sense that you would come here as a Frost Death Knight and use your Frost and Ice abilities against Ragnaros and the fire enemies? Yeah. That was my bad. Oh well. So you can see my rarity. It says, well, you've done 5 of 100 attempts. Yeah. So now, according to this, my chances have gone up to 4.90 for both this and the Alley Razor mount. Yep. So I hope you can see why I really like the Firelands raid. I think it was really cool, well done. Of course, Ragnaros coming back made better than in Molten Core. I would much rather farm this than Molten Core, like any day. This is a much more enjoyable raid, I think, than Molten Core. It feels better designed because, for one thing, you're able to mount up, and just the layout and how it works is just great. Of course, if you want to come here to take out mobs to get rep for other things, like you did back in the day, you could do that. I believe there were some certain quests in Cataclysm, like involving Mount Hydro as well, where you would come here for certain items, for certain things that you were doing back in Cataclysm. Like, I think for druids, you need to come here and farm this place for seeds to affect one of your forms that you could transform. But that was like a druid-specific thing for this raid. I don't think I've done that to see if that, like, triggers, because, like in ICC, the Shadowmourne quest would trigger if you were a certain level with the Ashen Verdict, but also if you were playing a Death Knight, a Paladin, or a Warrior, because it was a two-handed weapon. I guess I'll have to come here with my Druid and figure out if that's how you can get that to trigger, or if I had to go do another quest in order to set that up to come here. I don't know. I'll have to look more into that. But that was the Firelands. I really enjoyed that raid. Unlike the next one. There is one more raid in Cataclysm to do, and it's not very well beloved by the community, especially for one fight in particular. Dragon Soul. And of course, you guys know I'm talking about the Spine of Deathwing. Oh gosh, I have to do Dragon Soul and the Spine of Deathwing next time. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. I'm not looking forward to doing this on camera, guys. Wish me luck in trying to record this in the next video. Hopefully when you see the next video, it'll actually turn out decently. I really hope so. I'll see you guys next time when we do the Dragon Soul raid. Wish me luck.